And Roger, sir, can I have your next position after 111?
It was a dark and stormy night, nor'easter rolling in. It's a long 12 hours, the power's out again. I pray for inner strength and that we don't lose no lives. Just another day in the first responders' eyes. Half a cup of coffee's gone, the first run comes in. A car slid off the road, there's a family trapped within. My heart beats like a hammer, I can barely catch my breath. I'm thinking the worst and hoping for the best. Yeah, we ain't superheroes, we're just ordinary people trying to make a difference, and the first on every scene. It's a heavy, heavy burden to carry all this burden when you can't unsee the things you've seen. It keeps going on when those sirens are gone.
Hey, welcome to the award-winning Mad Radio Show with John and Sam. We are all about healing our heroes. Man, and today we got a phenomenal show with special guests from the Valor Ranch here in North Texas. And they are doing some amazing things with our veterans. As me and you spoke plenty of times, Sam, a lot of our first responders become veterans. A lot of our first veterans become first responders after the fact, and vice versa. So this is a really good mix and of both veteran community and first responder community.
Absolutely. Hey, John, how are you?
Very good, very good.
Well,
I just rolled right into that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, well, yes, and it's perfect because, we're just coming off being out at Dallas Police Department last month, again, talking to their new recruit classes, and the more times we're out there, the bigger, I should say the larger number of veterans that are in the classes, because as we've talked about on previous shows, it's kind of a natural fit. You're going from teammates to working with teammates. Uniform, it's just a different uniform. The culture,
the paramilitary.
The culture is pretty much the same. And I would say you don't have necessarily that sense of losing your identity. Even though there is, obviously your unit's not coming with you. There's a little bit of it, but it's definitely easier.
Mission is served. The mission is served because that, our veterans and our first responders all have that they're all cut from that cloth. They want to serve their community, and they want to serve their city, state, whatever it is. That's what's inside them. They can't lose that. That does become part of their identity.
Absolutely. And speaking of service, well, first of all, folks, the comment stream is open as it always is right after the show starts. So come on, say hello, ask your questions as the show goes on, or we're going to dance because John's phone, we got that show going. I want to give look, Mad Radio making a difference, right? So two feel good stories. So first, out of Lighthouse Point, Florida, they have a Lighthouse Point PD, Officer Stebbins, who jumped into the waterway there, pitch black at night, after a lady's dog had fallen in and was treading water for like 20 minutes. Wow. And he went in, he like I said, it was pitch black, couldn't really see, got the dog out, reunited it with the owner. Obviously she couldn't be more grateful. So thank you, Officer Stebbins, for really stepping up and doing that
And that's in Florida.
in Florida. Yeah,
Man, you
Lighthouse.
at night. You got to watch the Gators, man. He's
Well,
pretty
I mean,
bold.
I don't know where Lighthouse Point PD is. Maybe it was a pier, maybe in the ocean. I don't know. Sharks, alligators, things with teeth.
Yeah.
We'll just go with that. Yeah, things with teeth, dangerous.
Yep.
So thank you for that. And there's been if you've been living under a rock or you haven't watched any news whatsoever coming out of Uvalde, Texas, we had that horrific shooting at the elementary school. Well, while we have these mass shootings and these terrible things happen, we also have good things like mass savings. And a huge shout out to Elijah Dickin. He is the 22-year-old who saved a whole lot of people in the mall the other day. I think it was Indiana.
The licensed gun owner.
Yes. By law, licensed gun owner, followed the letter of the law, praised by the chief of police there. And we need to give him some serious props here because, John, you and I know, firearms training takes precedent over most any other kind of training in law enforcement, right? So this young man, again, folks, 22 years old, from 40 yards. That's right. I said it. 40 yards, 10 shots, 8 of them hit. The chief said, tactically sound. I can't even say the word. We trained to shoot out to 25 yards with a pistol. Okay. He did this with his concealed carry pistol, not a long gun. 40 yards. 8 out of 10 hits, saved a lot of lives. Huge shout out to Elijah. We've got a lot of heroes like this out on the streets every single day. You just don't hear about it because of the way the news works. So 2 wonderful stories. And so
that goes to show you, Sam, like we talk about how important it is for gun owners to get to the range, to practice and to be proficient in their firearms. This way, when if anything like this does happen, you take out your subject. You don't risk other people's lives. And this kid sounds like, even being young, he was proficient in his use, because I'm sure that was not only a 40 yards away, that was probably a moving target to begin with. Which probably makes it a lot harder as well.
Yeah, details are still, coming out about that. But yeah, you practice like you play. And this young man clearly practiced. We live in a crazy, crazy world now. So be like Elijah, folks. That's the tagline for tonight. Be like Elijah. If you do carry, you should be out at the range. You should be practicing that draw. And we could do a whole show on that. But we're not. Okay, we're gonna switch gears here because we are about making a difference. And it is we're both wearing the same shirt. I don't know if you guys can see. Okay,
I know we didn't even dress together.
This year we were completely honored to be chosen as nonprofit partners with Carry the Load. And what that means is over Memorial Day weekend, the mission is to spread goodness, spread education, bring back the true meaning of Memorial Day, to honor those that we've lost and honor those that serve. And we got to meet 2 really cool people who have a passion to serve. They come from a unique space. We're going to let them tell you about it. But when you can visualize yourself helping others, that's one thing. When you take that on a grand scale and you say, oh, no, it's not just about us helping. We've got to build a ranch to do this, okay? it takes it to a whole nother level, and the work is tireless, but as you know, from what we do in the nonprofit space, that's part of it.
They took a vision. They took a vision and built it. You know,
absolutely. And I want to say that they have like the coolest mascot of everybody. Their little baby goat, I think his name was Levi. We have to check that out. But this little baby, somebody had it in their arms the entire weekend, just at different tables, and it's like, oh, you have him. Oh, you have him.
Let me tell you something. If I didn't have 4 rescue dogs, I'd be going out and buying myself a Levi, because he was the cutest thing in the world.
He really was cute, and I do remember Tara seeing him and coming over and saying, "Hey, we need to get." But so without further ado, we are going to bring on Valor Ranch live from Decatur, Texas. We've got Keri, Ann, and Josh. How are you guys?
Hey guys.
Hey.
We're good. How are you? Hey, we have shirts that match too.
There you go.
We didn't plan it either.
Yeah, we didn't plan it either.
It's I don't know, Mom Nature threw the heat waves, threw it out there tonight. But do we have the name of that cutie pie correct? Did I remember his name?
Yeah, Levi.
I did. Okay. John can tell you, like him, I'm terrible at names, but you put a cute dog, or in this case, a very cute goat, and we don't forget the name. Sorry, people.
Yeah.
But welcome to Mad Radio. It's so great to see you all again. And we want to dive right in, because that mission that you guys have is so on point, and it's something that I don't think the majority of people really think about, because you created Valor Ranch really to serve women, S.H.E.R.O.E.S, right? Keri Ann, can you take us through the journey of how this came about?
Well, thank you for letting us be here and share our mission and vision with everyone. It's an honor to be on the show with you guys, and I really appreciate it. I'm sure Josh does.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You guys are awesome. So we may cut in and out because we live in a very rural area, and we're starting to get storms. Yay.
Finally, 45 days without rain. We can use some.
In the last 30 minutes, it's gone from 109 to 97. And my computer is saying rain is coming.
So we're good with that.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But did we freeze?
No,
nope,
you're good.
You're good.
Okay, good. So back in 2016, I was in college, and I knew I wanted to serve. My husband was a combat vet, and he passed away from his combat exposure. And my son, my brother, my grandfather. Oh, it looks like we're bleeping out there.
No, you're good.
All served. And when I was in college, I became president of the Student Veterans of America. And I said, hey, guys, I'm not a veteran. They're like, no, but you get stuff done. And I was like, okay. So I led the pack on that. And while I was there, because I had made a promise to my deceased husband before he passed that I would continue fighting for his brothers and sisters in arms. I had no idea what that looked like. When he passed away, I lost my identity.
Now we lost him.
Okay, now we lost him. Hopefully, oh gosh. Well, God bless the rain that they're getting.
Yeah, we'll get him back. They'll probably get back on. But, you know, she was saying one thing that really hit home, too. And we brought this up.
Here we go. We got him back.
Oh, got it back?
All right.
We're back. Sorry.
All right.
No worries. Go ahead.
So, anywho, what had happened was I came home from school one night, and I sat down with Josh in a spiral, and we drew out what the ranch would look like, because I always wanted to live on a farm. When I grew up, I still haven't grown up yet, but I'm growing. And we just drew it out, what it would look like. And it first started out as 100 acres. And then we was going to have the men here, the families here, and the women over here. And then we thought, boy, that's a Jerry Springer waiting to happen. So we condensed it to 10 acres and found our focus was for the women veterans and first responders. And that being because as I managed a Texas Veterans Commission grant for 3 years, I realized how underserved these women veterans are. And then I learned over a period of time that there are no resources for female police officers and first responders. And I was like, wow. Although we're not big and we can't touch every heart, but if we can just touch one, then I can go to sleep happy.
That's
You know,
amazing.
you said you're talking to two people from the East Coast, right? Because me and Sam are both on the East Coast, and it's funny when you throw out that 100 acres. We were just going to get like 100 acres. It's like to us, that's the city, you know.
That's true.
That's like huge. That's tremendous, you know. Because on the East Coast, we're living on a quarter of acre of land. So when you're like, yeah, we were going to think about 100 acres, I'm like, holy crap, that's a lot of land.
It is.
Well, even 10 acres, when
Even
you
10
talk about 10 acres, and I the Jerry Springer moment, that was classic because, we all dated ourselves just then. If you don't know who Jerry Springer is and you're watching, go ahead and, look him up.
Googling.
Yeah, you got some YouTube moments there, and you'll understand what Keri Ann's talking about and why we laughed. But it is before the show, we were talking a little bit on how we are so good, women, we're good at a lot of things. But when it comes to being resilient, we're really good at that. When it comes to actually pushing ourselves physically, we're really good at that. When it comes to post-traumatic stress injury, trauma injury, stress, we are so good at hiding what is going on. I think you said it best, that we operate, wearing masks.
Yes. And we have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
We women are usually the center of the household, the center of somebody's universe, may it be a wee little person or our significant other. Sometimes we're the oldest in the family and we have siblings that we've taken care of. And a lot of women have served. And they had a lot more to prove to be right up there with the men than the men did.
I will testify and speak to that tremendously, as I got thrown around a mat room in training by my partner who was 6'1", and
Wow.
there wasn't any, I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to show weakness. I mean, I did end up hurting my back, and like, you got to kind of do what you got to do. But yeah, you put your game face on. Yeah.
We see it a lot when we start doing these our workshops with a badge of honor. A lot of the male first responders are in a classroom. Not a lot of female officers come in, and I think that's a very misleading thing on the department's side, is that they feel that females aren't prone to post-traumatic stress like their counterparts. And I think that you guys are hitting on and helping and making a difference in a community that really needs it. When you talk about female veterans and female first responders, because a lot of them aren't getting they're being discarded somewhat, if that's the word. They're being or overlooked. They're thinking the male counterparts are more prone. They're the men, so they're traumatized more. But women,
they're being valued at less than.
Huh?
They're being valued at less than.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that is not that is not the case. You know, that should not be overlooked. I mean, you know, you have people signing up, ladies that are signing up to get into the armed forces that are signing the same exact paperwork that men are signing. They're cashing that check payable to whatever extent, just as
Exactly.
males are. You know,
Yep.
and that should not be overlooked in any shape, way, or form. Nor should the standard of aftercare be any less than what it is for men.
What struck home with me one day, and which really helped me decide what direction we were going to go, was this combat veteran woman came in my office one day, and she sat down in front of me, and she just started spilling her heart out. And she said, Keri, my services in another state at the VA were in the basement. She said, I served just like those every man standing outside of that VA, and I still was treated as rock bottom.
Second class.
Mm-hmm.
Like a second
Absolutely.
class citizen.
Yes.
Exactly.
Wow. It's you know, we talk about a lot of the different kinds of trauma that we see, and you know, over the course of a lifetime, if you're in law enforcement for 25 years, you're going to be exposed to 800 traumatic incidences. That's the science. That's the research. When it comes to the military community, it's different because you have deployments that last however long they last, depending on what branch you're on or the National Guard. You're assigned to your job duties over there, whether it be logistics, taking care of vehicles, or flying Apache helicopters, right? I have a female veteran friend who that's what she did. And so the exposure levels are different. And I think that's why people may think it's like, well, you didn't see combat. And then to have my friend turn around and say, oh, I didn't. You're right. I just flew that Apache helicopter around dropping off ice cream, you know, and people, you know, the guy stepped back and was like, oh, okay. And I'm not talking about other men that served. I'm talking about guys in general. It's like, yes, women have achieved equal, or in some cases have surpassed rank. And whether that is viewed as a plus or a minus, I think it just depends on your moral standing as a human on this earth. But for a lot of women, Keri, and you said, you know, we had to go out and we had to prove ourselves. Mm-hmm. And with that, we have a lot of trauma caused by sexual abuse in the military. Yes. So we have a military sexual trauma perpetrated mostly against women, but occasionally you find it against other men. Have you guys kind of had women reach out to you specifically that have suffered that kind of injury? And is it maybe more difficult to deal with than, I don't want to call post-traumatic stress general, but like battle, something that somebody might have seen in battle?
Mostly because 80%, 1 in 4 women, which is a very high ranking, because since 2000, our woman veteran population has gone from approximately 60,000 to over 500,000 today.
Wow.
So you can just imagine 1 in 4 of those women have experienced some kind of sexual harassment, whether they saw combat or not.
Right.
Wow.
And when you talk sexual harassment, you know, when we talk sexual harassment for our viewers, you know, sexual harassment goes, you know, when people think of sexual harassment, they think of the cat calls or the inappropriate touching. Sexual harassment goes on as the lewd stares, the dismissiveness, the all of that stuff combined in turns into some sort of sexual harassment because you're dismissing the female's values and what she brings to the table.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Sam, you had touched on a point earlier that the guys are looking at the ladies, and the research behind it was 800, I think 800 encounters roughly. They're for PTS or some kind of traumatizing, and I was going to touch on that too and say, but that doesn't even count what the ladies are having to put up with, whether it be somebody walking by and slapping them on the butt, even joking, saying good game, because guys do it all the time, right? Shop talk, whatever it looks like. But, just like you said, John, the cat calls, just the lewd comments, the, just gestures for that matter. Sam, you'd also asked that had we had the opportunity to I guess, help somebody or meet up with somebody who's faced stuff like that. And absolutely,
Yes.
we have. We had a lady that was traumatized, or she was actually raped, and ended up having a child because she was raped in the military.
Yes.
And she kept the child. The child, obviously, she's grown now, and beautiful girl. Of course, she does have her issues. She does know where she's from or what she's a product of. So she kind of deals with that. But absolutely, and it's not just, once again, the lewd comments. It's not the smack on the butt. It's not a pinch or a smile or something that's just downright rude. It's absolutely coming down to downright rape and children being born because of that. Or not being born because of that. So yeah, I mean, it's the spectrum is from end to end. Whenever you touch on the MST subject.
And 60% of men have experienced
Absolutely
sexual trauma in the service.
In some shape, way, or form.
And men are really tough to bring that about and face it and talk about it. But to get down to it, to get them into a comfortable place, to be vulnerable and say, hey, yes, I experienced that, and to work through it, their lives could be so different.
Yeah, well, it is. I totally get what you're saying and understand. John and I both, because we've talked to a lot of people, and they say the same thing. It's and that's why I think where you guys come in with the ranch is so key, because first of all, one size does not fit all in terms of treatment.
No.
Okay.
Never.
And I'll go as far to say, from talking to the number of practitioners that John and I have, to have a man sit in a traditional office setting, on the couch, talk about sexual trauma versus being with other men that may have suffered the same thing in a more relaxed atmosphere, surrounded by nature.
Mm-hmm.
Nature tends to ground us and just make us feel different. It kind of, at least for me, it's got a comfort level that is way different than this clinical, oh, I gotta go see my therapist kind of thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Most
and the
definitely.
campfire helps. S'mores,
Yeah.
Well, with the VA, I'm not a veteran. I'm not a veteran, but what I've heard, and especially with the VA, when we talk about getting an assigned therapist, could take up to as long as 3 months before you even see a therapist. And then you don't really have your choice on a male or a female therapist, right? So, female who has been sexually assaulted in the military may have issues with going and coming forward to a male therapist. May not feel comfortable enough. And then if she says, I don't want to be part of this, I want to change, it could take up to another 3 months to find a therapist that she feels comfortable with.
Yeah.
So you're talking that now you're looking at 6 months where that can become very frustrating for our S.H.E.R.O.E.S.
And then have we lost them by then?
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and what has triggered them, to where they're actually having to actively seek it. If they dealt with some of it during, their time in the military, and now they're back, and now they're out, and they're facing something else or something that has triggered them, and they're needing help right away. They're not needing help 6 months from now. They're not needing help 3 months from now. They needed help
Now.
a year ago, whenever it happened, or whenever it happened from that time forward. But and you're exactly right. So at that point, we try to seek somebody from outside who can actually help these ladies immediately, who can give them the relief that they need in a more comfortable setting. And it's not something that is demanded by the VA that they have to do this or they have to do that. We try to alleviate those hoops that they have to jump through so they can get the help that they need and start healing now, as opposed to on someone else's time.
We've made plenty of connections within our community. We actually have a counseling group here in Wise County that's all they serve as first responders and veterans.
Yep.
And they even have a back entrance to their office and back parking so that they do not have to use the front entrance, be made known of any type, way, shape, or form.
Yeah, their client privilege is second to none whenever they start talking about veterans and first responders and the level of care that they actually give.
Mm-hmm.
See, and what me and Sam have just experienced over the last couple of weeks through helping out other veterans is that many veterans who serve 4 years or 6 years, they come out after they've served our country, performed an amazing job and patriotic. They come out and they don't have medical insurance. They have VA benefits. So they are limited onto where they can go, who they could seek out, unless it's cash out of pocket, which a lot of veterans suffer from that. So they have no other means but to be, a slave to the VA.
Yeah. So so
Right.
if somebody, for people that are listening, right now, you guys are kind of doing two programs. You got your S.H.E.R.O.E.S, which is women veterans only, and then you have another program where it's first responders and veterans and families. And so for somebody like what John just said, that is only able to operate in that VA system, and it's just not happening. Walk us through. They pick up the phone, which by the way, guys, I'm going to put your website up there, but Valor Ranch TX for Texas. That's the abbreviation for Texas. Valor Ranch TX.org. You can go there. If I'm a veteran, I only have VA. I'm not waiting 3 months. Somebody tells me about your website. I land on it. I reach out to you guys. Can you kind of walk everybody listening through how we take advantage of your services?
Well, they can also, on the website, there's an assistance tab through the Texas Veterans Network, and they will get them connected to local assistance near them. All they have to do is prove that they have served, and that's usually through a DD-214. They'll go through a very short vetting process. If they need financial resources, if they need therapy, if they need to go and check themselves into the hospital, if they need legal help, anything of that nature, they can log on or register, and they'll connect with them and get them straight to the services they need that is local to them within the state of Texas. So
Wow.
anywhere, they can be anywhere in the state of Texas.
That's fantastic, and we know the folks over at Texas Veterans Network. They are phenomenal, and it literally is
They
one
actually
phone call.
helped us out big time.
Yeah, they get you in the system, and they get you what you need. For somebody that wants to come out to the ranch, I understand you have some housing, or what's going on with the overall build out.
So
It's nonstop.
yeah.
Yes. We did say at the beginning of the show that it's tireless. It's like you don't sleep. It's a mission focused 100%. And that's what it takes, right?
If you hear two foreheads hit the table going thug, that's us.
Or if I just fall out of the camera's view. No.
There you go.
So we have helped a few people as far as staying on the property that were in transition. They've all transitioned out. They're all in their new homes, which yay.
Yes.
And that's what it was here
Congratulations.
for, was to help them get to that next step. We also have an aquaponics garden that'll feed over 300 people a week. And we're 75% completed with that.
85.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just got corrected. 85.
I love
But
it.
if someone needs assistance, by all means, they can call us. They can connect through our website. Just however, because I had a lady call me from Colorado a couple of days ago. And the best that I can do, because I'm not familiar with those resources, is get a hold of her city manager and say, hey, what do you have for veterans? Who's your veteran connection in this city? You know,
Mhm.
and getting her connected to those, what she needs.
Did they have
North
one?
Carolina- Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're just not famous because they're not in Texas. So, you know.
There you go. There you go. I love
No,
it.
because
Yeah.
there are a lot of states that may not have a whole bunch of built-in resources for the veteran community. I just want to make sure that there is something out there that is good for each state. The resources vary from city to city.
They do vary. But it just takes that one advocate that will go a little bit deeper and
Yeah,
call the
it's-
next person and call the next person, because the veteran's not going to do it.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
we know that. Yeah.
And we've had that discussion with so many people, and what we try to convey is the fact that this is not a competition. It's about networking. It's about connecting resources to the right people and just making sure that somebody has that tether. Just one tether can change a life. All it does is create, domino effect. And if one person can make that phone call and just, make that one connection, it creates a whole world of information, or just a new highway of information that people maybe not have even known was there.
Yes.
Just like you guys on being on the East Coast, reaching out to us. There may be somebody who's sitting in their living room right now or sitting on their phone right now watching this program, and they're saying, you know what, I had no idea. I had no idea about a city manager. Here I am struggling. Well, maybe I can call these folks or call, whoever it looks like for them, just to say, you know what, I can tap into that resource. I can tap into that network. And guess what? Now I've got everything at my fingertips that I need to continue to live a healthy life.
And that's the powerful thing about Carry the Load.
Absolutely.
That is the whole point, is that the resources are there. They're right there front and center. First, if you need assistance, you can get it on site over Memorial Day weekend. But beyond that, you take away, whether it's brochures, whether it's business cards, and we come from all across the United States. This isn't just in Texas. Literally, the resources, we span the U.S. So if there's not, if you're a veteran, the VA is there, but the VA doesn't have to ever be there if you don't want. Yeah, and it is about networking. It is knowing about who's in your city, but beyond that, is be like, okay, I live in Texas, but if I want to do a program in Colorado, I met these folks. For first responders, what we talk about all the time, EAP, with the exception of one sheriff's department that we know the success stories out of Broward County, Florida. Okay. People aren't going to the EAP. It was a verb in my department. You're getting EAP. That was a negative. You did not want to do that because you're talking to somebody that doesn't do what you do. They can't begin to understand what you're exposed to on any given day. And what can happen is it can put you back or put you in a state that it's like, F the whole place. And then we have that spiraling. And I'm sure you guys have received like SOS, like phone calls, like help, like last resort.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We've had veterans that have, tried doing it the right way and going through the VA. And then for whatever reason, they get sidetracked, whether it's VA's fault, whether it's their fault, misunderstanding, whatever that may look like. But they've tried to find all of their resources through the VA, and they just get so fed up with it that they refuse to go to the VA. So therefore, they're just stuck. And at that point, what happens? You have to have somebody who's willing to fill in that, step in that gap and basically, say, these are the resources that you do have that are not VA affiliated. And I've seen people go from refusing to go to the VA to being able to find every resource that they need just because somebody was able to connect them with the resources that they needed outside the VA. And they still get a better level of care than what they would have trying to go in circles and jump through hoops through the VA.
Well, and in defense on the VA's behalf, they are super exhausted.
Absolutely, they are.
They're so overwhelmed. So organizations like you all and us and Carry the Load and many, many, many more, all we do is just enhance and help each other and help the VA take some of that burden off of the VA so that we can get everyone seen or heard or whatever that looks like.
Whatever the resources they need.
Now, but go ahead, John.
I was going to say, we see it more and more now, traditional couch therapy, okay, although it is fantastic and it does work, the therapeutic resources that like you guys are going to offer heal the mind and the mental state at a better level.
The body too, yeah.
And the body,
heart, yeah.
It's great to sit and chat on a couch, but if you're going to go from that couch right onto your couch watching Judge Judy, it's not gonna fix anything. The programs that you guys are going to offer get people to learn how to move their body, find a hobby,
it gets them off the couch.
It gets them off the couch, gives them a variety of things to look into. So that's where you guys are excelling and making a difference. And the healing process, I think, is better than the traditional sitting on a couch with a therapist.
We have had people come onto the property, men and women both, that have been in pretty bad situations. They're just mentally done. They're exhausted. They don't feel like they have anything to turn to. So, and Keri, she'd call and say, hey, we're going to have guests tonight, so, all right, how many am I cooking for? So they'd come into the ranch and, usually on the weekends and whatnot. And that's usually when it happens, is they come on the weekend and they'll stay. And all we ask them to do is just, just disconnect, come out here, disconnect, no phone, no nothing, just disconnect, spend whatever days you need. And, they could be literally pretty close to suicide, and we've had it. And, the only thing we say is we're going to be working. We're going to be taking care of the ranch. You can work if you want. You don't have to. The only rule is you can't leave the front gate. That's the only rule. You got 10 acres. You want to go to the car in the back with a sledgehammer and beat the hell out of it? Go at it.
More power.
Somebody's going to go with you to do it, and you're going to basically name every frustration that you have every time you swing that hammer. But understand, whenever they start that, they usually can't lift their arms afterwards, because they just get so much out, which is good. Yeah. Or they'll come and help us work. Or they'll say, you know what, I'm not going to work. And we find them swimming in the pond, or they're messing with the horses or the ducks or the chickens or the goats or whatever it looks like for them. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you that every single time that we've had that happen, suicide was off the table and they were a different person when they walked out the gate.
No,
that's amazing.
And that's all it takes.
Yeah.
What are some of the resources? What are some of the resources or programs, whatever you want to call them, in the housing I know Keri Ann was talking about you. I know you're 85%, but Keri Ann was talking about 4 are completed. Some of the resources that people
The
can,
cottages,
the
right?
cottages, look forward to when they come to the ranch.
Can you repeat that? Because
Yeah, you were breaking up.
you
a
were
little
breaking
bit.
up.
Oh, so when someone comes to the ranch, I know, Keri Ann, you were talking about the 4 cottages that are now up and running on the property. Then you're talking about the horses, the chickens. What are some of the resources that Valor Ranch is going to offer our veterans and our first responders and our S.H.E.R.O.E.S when they come?
So for the ladies coming into the program, they're going to be offered wraparound resources, anything from financial classes to cooking classes to obviously mental health. That's going to be the main piece. We're going to try to get them connected in any shape, way, or form, whether it be employment whenever they leave our the program, or whether they want to go back to school, whatever that looks like for them. We kind of leave that up to them as far as kind of what they want out of life and what that looks like for them, because that's their story that they're writing. But there are going to be certain requirements, obviously, that they're going to have to meet and they're going to have to go through here. For instance, there's not going to be any type of isolating. You're going to be required to come out onto the property and work and basically learn the new skills, work in the aquaponics garden or work with the animals or something like that. We want to change their lifestyle. And that a lot of people, they just kind of get the misconception that we're just going to throw this stuff at them and let them pick and choose. No, it's not that way. Just like any type of work, you have to work at it to make it work. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna get you off the couch. We're gonna hold you accountable for saying, you know what, you want to choose different. You got to do different. You can't just continue to stare at these 4 walls and expect a different outcome. That's living the life of insanity.
Yeah.
Get out of the house, get to work, and let's make it better. Let's work together to make your life better.
So they have a schedule to go by.
Yep.
And all of the duties are marked out on the schedule. They'll rotate the duties within the farm life to keep the farm running. Mm-hmm. And then they'll be asked if they want to go back to work. If they do, then we'll get them connected to resume and job search. Or if they want to go back to college or go to college, then we'll get them connected and make sure that they get their benefits lined out with whatever degree plan they want.
That's fantastic. So, hey, we've got a question that came in on the chat. What happens if a veteran is in a post-traumatic stress crisis while staying at the ranch? What's the protocol?
So if there is a crisis that happens, then we are to connect with the therapist.
The mental health. There will be a case manager that is assigned to that veteran, and that veteran and the case manager will contact the behavioral health and basically address it from there. Understand, Valor Ranch is the vehicle that just has these resources available. We are not mental health therapists. We are not we are not certified. We are not trained in it. We offer a ranch that has these resources available for these ladies to come through and help them get the help that they need.
Right. You're changing the mental mindset. And I think that's a huge undertaking in itself, but that's where everybody's got to start. And
that's right. And the work is up to them. They have to do the work. We can't do it for them. We can't want it for them. We can't want it more than they want it. They have to want it. So they're going to have to.
We've seen that plenty of times with first responders and veterans who are in crisis that they just don't want to continue the help, or they don't want to help. They're afraid of it. They don't. And I hate to say it, some like to wallow in it because it's become the norm of their life.
Exactly.
And they don't know any better. So depression becomes the only thing that they know. And it's frightening to step out of that box, and it's frightening to step out of that comfort zone because they've been dealing with it for so long. So
absolutely, you're exactly right.
Through farm life, and I'll tell you, me and Sam, when we did a show and we went out to our watch, and who would have thought that like the equine therapy, to me, is the most amazing therapy when you're around horses. Really took me out of a hypervigilant state at one point, and I wish I could have continued it because I think it would have helped a lot. But I never would have thought of equine therapy. I'm a first responder, would have never thought horses would have had that type of effect until I tried it. And then all of a sudden I was like,
Right.
sit back. So who knows? You keep trying things and see what's going to feel good for yourself, because everybody's different.
You know, there's a saying that says you better get comfortable being uncomfortable. And it's funny because when people sign up for that, whenever they go into the military, or for you, a first responder, and you get your first bit of that, you have to become comfortable being uncomfortable. Well, getting better is kind of the same philosophy, you know, get comfortable being uncomfortable, because that change is going to be uncomfortable. Just like you said, they've become complacent in the situation that they're currently in. And it's hard to step out of that. It's hard to make that decision consciously every day, to step out of that comfort zone and say, you know what, this has got to be something that I'm going to have to see it through, the hard, the good, the bad, the ugly, you know, because people are going to see all sides of you. And if you can look like
post-traumatic stress, when we look at post-traumatic stress as an injury, right? It's an injury. So just like physical therapy, nobody likes to go to physical therapy. They get frustrated. You know, someone's got a broken hip or a broken femur or a broken leg, you know, and they got to learn to walk again. They don't want to go for 2 hours of therapy walking on crutches. But you know what? At some point, they're going to see a change. They're going to see a healing. They're going to see that they're able to walk again.
I slipped a disc in my back 10 weeks ago. It still hurts, but guess what? I still got a ranch to run, so I got to get up and make sure it works, right?
Right.
So I have to be, you know, comfortable being uncomfortable. So yeah, it's the change, and it's hard work. There's nothing simple about it. And we try to tell people that when they come onto the property, there's nothing simple about this.
Will not
understand
be easy.
that this will not be easy. This isn't Club Med. It's not somewhere where you can just go stay for free and expect things to be given to you. You're going to have to work if you want this change. And that's the only way that anybody, veteran or first responder or civilian for that matter, if they want that change, they have to apply the effort to make that change.
Yeah, you're absolutely, and it's some of the hardest, some of the most difficult and frustrating things you can go through. You know, you've got to be accepting of the journey, and you've got to be accepting of the rules and everything that you guys are putting forward when you've given your time and your effort and shelter to anybody coming in. And it's not always easy to understand if you're in a place where you're so lost that, you know, there can be some misinterpretation going on. When you hear the word hard work, it's like, what do you mean this is going to be hard work? I'm here so you can fix me. That's not how going through the journey of healing from post-traumatic stress, right? That's not how healing from that journey, dealing with post-traumatic stress works.
Right.
My therapist told me straight out when I was doing EMDR, this is the most difficult thing you're going to go through. You're going to want to punch my lights out. You're going to hate me for what we're going to do.
And if it comes down to yelling and screaming at each other, then so be it.
Right. It's not pretty, but you know what? It's freaking real. And I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for somebody who laid it out on the line from day one. John wouldn't be sitting here, and neither would our other partner, Jeff, and John, our other John, would have been the one that would have been yelling at us.
We wouldn't be sitting here. Even civilians, we wouldn't be sitting here.
We have done hard ourselves.
You know,
and that was part of our inspiration as to how this was going to run.
I mean, let's face it, and I'm just going to be real vulnerable. I've had a gun in my mouth. You know, I know what that looks like. I know what both ends of that spectrum look like. And that's what gives me the purpose and the drive every day to try to help somebody else, you know, because I understand what that emptiness, what that literally I have nothing left to give, or I have no one to turn to or anything. I know what that looks like, but I also know what that light at the end of the tunnel looks like too. And I can tell you right now, it's not a train. It is absolutely beautiful, because once
Absolutely.
you can see inside yourself and you can get past that point of either, and I'm not saying it's their fault, playing the victim or falling into that victim mentality and saying, oh, the world's out to get me, or, there's nothing here to fix. That's BS. There always is. Is it hard? Absolutely. Is it tough? Absolutely. Are you going to have to make questionable decisions about yourself? Absolutely. We all do.
Yep.
But you know what? The journey is worth it, because I can tell you right now, whenever I was going through the middle of my suck that I had to embrace, I couldn't tell you that I was going to be okay. But I can tell you that the question was asked to me, you're in the middle of this right now. In 2 years, is all of this going to make a difference? No. But right now, where I'm at right now, I can tell you that I'm several years past it, and it's still a beautiful life. And I still continue to write my story, just like she does, just like you two do, just like the people who've seen both sides of that coin.
Yep.
You just got to keep pushing forward, no matter how hard or how sucky it is.
Wow.
Well,
Powerful.
I promised. I promised before we started. You guys had the last minute to say your message to first responders and veterans listening. Josh, I think you kind of nailed it.
Yeah,
I
nailed
mean,
that one.
that was super powerful. Keri, you want a different message add on? What would be your message?
Just be vulnerable. Just reach out. You're not alone. You don't have to do this alone. Just because we're civilians doesn't mean we don't understand. We both have backgrounds. Just because there's civilians out there that want to help you doesn't mean that they don't understand. They want to help you. Go for it. Don't give
Now,
up.
how could people help Valor Ranch?
Right. Where can they go to help you guys out and visit you on social media?
Valor Ranch TX is our handle on all social media sites, including LinkedIn.
For people that are local, help with physical. I mean, just trying to build all the time. We've constantly got projects going on, just trying to build the ranch. So we put together work days. So if there's skilled laborers out there that want to come out and volunteer some time, that's great. Of course, money is always a good thing. Cash is king, as they say.
Right.
Just donations, or just by spreading the word, simply just spreading the word.
Or if they know how we can get our hands on some heavy equipment, we've got a pond to build. We need a truck and a trailer so we can deliver this food every week to the local food banks and shelters.
How
and shelters.
about donations such as basic amenities, blankets, pillows, silverware, glasses, chairs, stuff like
For
that?
us right now, it would be hygiene. It would be hygiene stuff.
Products.
Deodorant, soaps, whether it's
laundry soap, liquid soap, bath soap, you name it.
Toothbrush, toothpaste.
Yes.
Just stuff like that. That seems to probably be the fastest that goes.
Deodorant.
Yep.
Hair products of any kind, male or female.
Okay.
Awesome.
So keep in mind, our programs for the ranch are designated toward women. Okay, but we will help both male and female. If we do have a male that we can help, we can easily put a call to action for some other nonprofits that we're affiliated with that are more than happy to bend over backwards for male or female. So keep that in mind when you guys do talk about it. Yes, our programs are geared toward women. However, we will help both male and female. I don't think we've ever turned anyone down. They may have not chosen to use us, but I don't think we've ever turned anyone away. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being with us tonight. I was typing out mad stuff on the comment stream. So we've got your handle up. That's awesome. You guys, if you're listening, you need assistance, please reach out. Again, Valor Ranch TX on all social media. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you.
This is
No, thank you.
you're doing phenomenal work, saving a lot of lives, and we really do appreciate you both.
Keep us
Have people live in their heart
informed
and
on
not
the
their head.
progress.
What's that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I said, have people live in their hearts, not their head.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Great final
Y'all
words.
take
Well,
All right.
hopefully
Thank
you'll get
you.
some well-needed rain, weather the storm.
And say hi to Levi.
Hey, send it us. If you got rain on the East Coast, send it west.
There you go. Take care, guys. Good
Take
night.
care.
Thank y'all.
Okay. Wow, just a phenomenal program. Thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Real quick, just want to leave you with some upcoming events. This Friday is the 22nd of the month. So every 22nd of each month, we are at Walk the Bridge, 2 locations out here in Rockwall, as well as the 7th Street Bridge in Fort Worth. And John is heading that Fort Worth Brigade up. So come on out this Friday, 6 o'clock. Let's start walking
6:30.
at 6:30. Yeah, we start walking at 6:30. But get out there early, park everything, take your time. Our next show for Mad Radio is Wednesday, August 3rd. So we will see you next month, if you can believe that. And August 7th. If you're looking for a way to connect to what it means to recover from whatever trauma you've experienced, or maybe you have a family member, our partners at NAMI North Texas are putting on an online training program. It's a recovery workshop. It's on August 7th for an hour and a half. I think it's 1 to 3:30 in the afternoon. You can go to NAMINorthTexas.org, and there's a phone number. Just scroll to the bottom, call, get yourself registered for that. And John, take us home.
No, I think Josh said it all, man. It was powerful. Just reach out. You're not alone. It's okay to not to be okay. And there's always that light that's going to be shining. It's going to keep getting brighter. So live in your hearts, not in your mind. And Sam, once again, pleasure as always. Glad we dressed together.
Yes. Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Till
Bye-bye.
next month. Bye-bye.